Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, a presidential visit in Perry. President Joe Biden is assessing damage dealt by Hurricane Helene.
Plus, how state and national agencies help address recovery efforts. We'll hear from a FEMA representative about applying for federal assistance.
Rain changes increase next week as the storm heads toward Florida. WUFT's First at 5 starts now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Just hours ago, President Biden traveled to Perry to survey damage caused by Hurricane Helene. He also met with officials, community leaders, and first responders. This is First at 5. I'm Nick Diaz.
And I'm Tanya Fedek. Biden touched down at the Tallahassee International Airport just after 11:30 this morning. He took a helicopter tour over Perry to survey the damage from Hurricane Helene just 1 week ago. Biden did not take any questions from reporters. He spoke with several elected officials in Tallahassee. WUFT Charlize Ramos joins us from Perry to break down Biden's visit.
I'm here in Keaton Beach, where you can see behind me the destruction and damage that Hurricane Helene left behind. Just a few hours ago, President Biden arrived in Keaton Beach to assess the damage that this community faced. The federal government also announced that it will be covering 100% of the damage costs left behind by Hurricane Helene.
They need to know that the president is concerned, that there's federal aid coming, not only for the municipalities, but for individuals as well.
In Keaton Beach, Charlize Ramos, WUFT News.
Newly released drone footage captures the extensive destruction left by Helene. The death toll from the storm currently stands 202 people, 7 days after it tore through the southeastern United States. White House officials say the number of storm-related deaths is expected to rise.
Citrus County and the city of Crystal River will begin debris pickup tomorrow. Crews from across the state will help with recovery efforts. Officials ask that residents separate different types of debris to make the pickup process faster. You're asked not to stack debris against trees, poles, hydrants, or storm drains. You should place debris along the curb without it blocking the roadway. Household garbage should be kept separate from storm debris. Officials say this will make several passes through neighborhoods through next week. Interfaith Emergency Services is asking the community to help, sending supplies to Citrus County. Items needed are buckets filled with rubber gloves, cleaning sprays, trash bags, masks, sponges, and bleach. Pickup starts Friday at 4 p.m. at Interfaith.
FWC is asking boaters in areas impacted by Hurricane Helene to stay out of the water unless they need to leave. They say boating could disrupt storm response efforts. Storms can shift trees and sandbars while also introducing new hazards like submerged navigation aids and changed water depths. If you must take your boat out, they ask that you stay cautious and wear a life jacket.
Gainesville Public Works crews have an update about debris removal from Hurricane Helene. 1 week after the storm, Public Works crews say all 249 traffic signals are back up and functioning. They've responded to 366 service requests and completed 239 work orders. Crews ask for continued patience as they continue working through requests and removing debris.
We're taking a live look outside now over I-75 near Paynes Prairie. It's been a sunny, clear day, but we can expect some rainfall as we head into the weekend. UF forecaster Gancarz-Davies is timing out when we can expect showers.
Yes, I'll be timing out those showers in just a moment, but currently we're looking at the power outage totals here in north central Florida, hitting their peak in Taylor County around Perry where Biden was earlier today. Taking a wider look, the most severe power outage totals are currently in Charlotte, North Carolina, where it was quite a number of people who were without power. Current storm tracker, there's not much going on, but this evening we're going to have some showers come in, and that's going to continue throughout the weekend for tomorrow, Friday, where we're going to have the peak of storms around 2 p.m. here in Alachua. And we're going to see that pattern continue for Saturday, where we're going to have peak storms coming in those early afternoon hours, hitting their peak around 4 p.m. just east of Stark. This pattern is going to continue throughout the week, and I'll tell you about that in the full forecast, which will come up after the break.
Cedar Key's annual seafood festival is canceled after extensive damage from Hurricane Helene. The festival is a big moneymaker for the small city, bringing in tourists from all around north central Florida. In the past, the festival hosted local vendors, arts and crafts exhibits, live music, and a parade. The city of Gainesville continues to offer resources to help neighbors recover from Hurricane Helene. Gainesville is participating in Operation Blue Tarp. Leaders have 1,200 roof tarps available to give out. Pickup starts tomorrow morning through Monday. Pickup times are from 11 to 7 Friday and Monday, and this weekend from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The tarps are available at the former RTS administration facility near Southeast 10th Avenue.
Attorney General Ashley Moody is fighting to have better radio communication for Floridians during deadly hurricanes. Moody is urging Congress to pass legislation that will make sure Floridians have AM radios in motor vehicles. AM radios allow for bigger coverage with low power to alert listeners during a dangerous weather event where the power may be out. The news conference started at 2 p.m. today. We have more details as they develop on WUFT.org.
FEMA employees have been working hard to help those impacted by Hurricane Helene. 1 week after the storm made landfall, FEMA has distributed $8 million to help those impacted. Over 100,000 Florida residents have applied for federal assistance as the storm continues to leave people without power. FEMA spokesperson Marty Bamonde says they sent over 1,000 staff members to Florida in the early days of the hurricane after hearing about the severity of the storm.
I think anybody who's seen the damage understands that it's just been catastrophic. I mean, this area of Florida has never ever experienced this before to this magnitude, and we recognize that.
If you've been affected by Hurricane Helene, Bob Monday says to first contact your insurance agent and then FEMA by phone, through the FEMA app, or online at disasterassistance.gov. FEMA also has staff going door to door in affected areas to help those unable to contact the disaster relief organization. For more information about the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, you can visit WUFT.org. We'll have details about relief efforts, volunteer opportunities, resource distribution, and more.
A Chiefland man will spend the next 10 years behind bars after pleading guilty to possession of child porn. 34-year-old Chucky Lee Rogers Jr. was arrested in October 2023 for possession of child pornography. Deputies say they received a cyber tip from the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, leading them to Rogers. Nearly 600 graphic photos and videos were seized from Rogers' possession. Rogers accepted a plea deal which includes a 10-year sentence followed by lifetime sex offender supervision.
2 teenagers are dead after a crash in Gainesville just outside of the Alachua County Jail. Gainesville police officers say on September 1st, just before noon, a white SUV driven by 47-year-old Jill Stone Barnash traveled over the lines, hitting a silver Toyota. 2 17-year-olds in the Toyota died, and the driver was injured. Barnash was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. After investigating, GPD arrested Barnash with charges of vehicular homicide and reckless driving with serious bodily injury.
A tennis coaching organization is taking its mission beyond the court. Coming up on First at 5, how Aces in Motion hopes to help students on the court and in the classroom. Breaking news just into the newsroom. The Gainesville Police Department just arrested an Uber driver they say sexually assaulted a rideshare victim over the weekend. Investigators say Saturday night the victim was in the front seat of Julio Shalifli's vehicle when the alleged assault happened. He is currently in the Alachua County Jail. Detectives believe there may be more victims and are asking anyone with information about similar incidents to come forward. An Alachua County tennis organization aims to help students on the court and in the classroom. WUFT's Mia Ortiz took a look at how Aces in Motion is benefiting students.
Aces in Motion, also known as AIM, is making strides in youth development through a unique sports-based after-school program, harnessing the power of tennis.
Aces in Motion is an after-school program for middle and high school students in Alachua County. Our main focus as an organization is actually foundationally built on tennis. From that, we realized that there was a bigger need as far as the academics and needing to support students on a more holistic level.
The program aims to integrate life skills with tennis instruction, all while providing academic support, promoting overall health, and letting kids have fun.
I think it's important I came to AIM because I don't know where I'd be right now if it wasn't for AIM. I was feeling a lot in school, in and out of trouble, disrespecting my teachers, and I think I just grew into a whole new person when I came to high school because I got to take this serious, and I don't want to fall behind, and I want to be able to make it for real, for real.
AIM's mission goes beyond the court. In Alachua County alone, 72% of black students are not reading at grade level. And black students are also 5.2 times more likely to be suspended from schools than white students. Research by the NIH shows that basic cognitive functions related to attention and memory facilitate learning, and these functions are enhanced by physical activity and higher aerobic fitness.
My belief as executive director is that we hold fast to the fundamentals of tennis simply because every single student, regardless of skin color, grade point average, ability, they all have the opportunity to learn something that they don't believe they have access to, which shows them that they can walk into any space that they want to.
With its blends of sports, education, and personal development, Aces in Motion is paving the way for a brighter future for children. Mia Ortiz, WUFT News.
A new face is joining Columbia County's court after Governor Ron DeSantis made an appointment this morning. Charles Garrett Hill of Lake City is joining the Columbia County Court as a judge. Hill has served as an assistant state attorney for the 3rd Judicial Circuit since 2020. He earned his bachelor's degree from Faulkner University and his Juris Doctor from Florida State University. His appointment fills the vacancy created in the court by House Bill 5401 that revised the number of circuit and county court judges.
Over the last 2 weeks, UFPD has seen a spike in thefts of bikes and e-scooters. They say this has been primarily on the east side of campus when they have been left there for more than a day. UFPD officers are sharing some tips they say could help protect your scooters. They recommend using a metal U-lock for extra security when leaving it outside. You should also register your vehicle at the public safety building. Report any suspicious activity to UFPD either by calling 911 or through the Gator Safety app. Students can also place an air tag on their scooter or bike so it can be tracked if stolen. Officers have already made an arrest after recognizing a person known for stealing bikes and e-scooters. When he was approached in possession of tools to cut cable locks and admitted that he intended to steal e-scooters. He was arrested and issued a trespass warning.
Gainesville's annual Screaming for Safety event is on Wednesday night from 4 to 7. It'll be held at Kiwanis Safety City and hosted by Gainesville Fire Rescue. Children of all ages can come dressed in their Halloween costumes, play games, and eat their favorite sweet treats. Local businesses are also participating in a free trunk or treat.
And we've got changes coming to our weather as a cold front arrives next week. Your forecast is coming up after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Starting it off with a look at the tropics, we do have a low pressure system in the Gulf that's going to be churning up a lot of rain for us here in Florida. It has about a 30% chance to develop into a tropical storm, but this front up here is hindering that growth just a little bit. Out in the Atlantic, we currently have a major hurricane Kirk that is churning up a lot of wet weather and wind speeds out in the Gulf, but luckily, since it's so far out, it won't be affecting us too much here in Florida. Looking back at our campus cam, you can see nice blue skies, but there are a couple of clouds. We're gonna have some clouds continue to move in throughout the week, bringing in some wet weather for the weekend. Our current temperatures are in those upper 80s, but they'll be taking a dip this evening just after sunset from those upper 80s down even to those mid to lower 70s. That temperature early morning is going to continue through the 8 a.m. hour as you're headed to work tomorrow, and it's going to quickly rise throughout the day up to those upper 80s, which it's going to be quite humid, so it might be feeling even hotter. We do have some rain coming in over the next couple of hours that is going to be continuing to affect us here in Florida for the rest of the weekend. They'll come in this evening before dissipating at late hours, coming back in for those Friday afternoon. We'll follow a similar pattern over the weekend where they'll disappear Saturday night but come back during the day, hitting their peak around 4 p.m. around Stark. Continuing that look for the rest of the week on a little bit of a larger scale, that system in the Gulf is going to be turning up a lot of rain for us here in Florida as it continues to move around the Gulf, adding more and more rain throughout the week. It's going to continue. So although we might not have the excessive rain, it's going to be persistent. For your football forecast for Saturday, we have UF hosting UCF in the Swamp, and we're going to have partly cloudy skies before those showers come in the afternoon, but hopefully they'll be dissipated by the time that kickoff starts at 7:45. The temperatures are going to be in the mid-80s, feeling just a little bit warmer as our muggy levels are quite muggy. It's going to be moist, so make sure to wear light clothes. Looking at our 7-day forecast, those temperatures are going to take a dip this weekend as we have that cold front coming through, bringing them from that 90-degree mark down to the lower 80s for most of the week. By next weekend, the temperatures will be recovering up to those warm temperatures that we are used to for this time of the year. Rain chances throughout the week are going to be consistent. We're going to have those isolated storms, isolated showers throughout the week through Wednesday, and we're going to continue that pattern for the rest of the week. Those lows are going to be just about 70 degrees.
Coming up in sports, a Thursday night matchup of district rivals and high school football playoff contenders from just a year ago. We're live at Citizens Field to give you the breakdown on what a win would mean for Eastside and Dunellen. Stay with us.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Daniel Haviv. Tonight's solo high school football matchup in the area features Eastside and Dunellen looking to make a push in the state playoff race. WUFT's Ethan Eibe is live at Citizens Field. Ethan, the implications couldn't be higher for tonight's game.
That's right, Daniel. It's a district matchup tonight at Citizens Field between two teams looking to march back to the postseason. The Eastside Rams and the Dunellen Tigers both made the 2S playoffs a year ago and are off to 3-2 starts this year. Eastside is coming off back-to-back wins over Trinity Catholic and Williston, while Dunellen looks to rebound after a heartbreaking 21-20 loss to Ocala Vanguard in overtime 2 weeks ago. Prior to that loss, Dunellen was on a 2-game winning streak, outscoring Westport and Lake Gibson by a combined 59-0. It's the first meeting between the Rams and the Tigers since the 2025 state playoffs, when Dunellen hung 50 points on Eastside in a shutout victory. Tonight is the first district game of the year for either side, with seeding implications on the line in the 3A state playoffs. Kickoff is set for 6:45 p.m. Reporting live from Citizens Field, Ethan Eibe, WUFT Sports.
And staying on the local high school side of things, girls volleyball has a stacked slate tonight. Branford is staggering 18-3 as they head to Bell to face a struggling Bulldog team at 6 p.m. Gainesville and Buchholz clash with the Hurricanes, sitting 4 games above 500, and the Bobcats looking to get back in the win column. And the game of the night is St. John Lutheran at Santa Fe, as both squads look like potential playoff contenders. Those last 2 games start at 7. Gators soccer is in action at the Diaz tomorrow night. They welcome in the SEC newcomer Texas Longhorns for only their 3rd meeting in program history. The Gators sit at 3-3-5 on the season, while Texas is ranked 22nd nationally and holds an impressive 9-1-2 record. This will be Florida's first home SEC game of the season. And a fun fact, Hurricane Helene made Florida the first team to play 3 straight conference road games since 2012. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. Gators football is on the tail end of their preparations for UCF this weekend. Their game plan is looking different than it's been for other teams. The Gators played well against Mississippi State in their win 2 weeks ago, but UCF comes in with a different type of game. They prioritize running the ball and having a playmaker in the backfield. The Knights are also ranked as one of the top run offenses in the country, so the Gators have been planning accordingly. Florida linebacker Grayson Howard talked about UCF's head coach Gus Malzahn and his unique offensive playing calling.
We made an emphasis on that at practice, just making sure that we're prepared for everything that he's going to throw at us. Like I said, he's a good play caller, and he's been doing this since years. I mean, I remember we watched clips from him at Auburn, him at UCF years before that. So I mean, he's going to make sure that our eyes are in the right place and our defense is sound.
Kickoff for Saturday's game against the Knights is slated for 7:45 p.m. at the Swamp. And on a final note, some former Gators are still fighting to stay alive in the MLB postseason. Pete Alonso, Harrison Bader, and Danny Young are all on the Mets. They face Milwaukee tonight in a win or go home game.
Yeah, Daniel, speaking of staying alive, some good news from Florida Fish and Wildlife. They were able to save a box turtle while patrolling during Hurricane Helene.
Yeah, Nick, so these turtles are not usually found in water like this. Box turtles are usually found in forests, pastures, and swamps. FWC says they were able to rescue the turtle from the water and bring it back to dry land. After a quick recovery, it scurried away. If you see an injured or displaced animal, you can report it to the Wildlife Alert Hotline.
Before we go, one last check on the weather.
Well, we are going to be having some rain coming into our region this weekend, and it's going to stick around throughout the week. Those temperatures currently in the 90 degrees are going to take a dip as well with that rain coming, this time due to a cold front. So from that 90, they'll be going to the mid 80s and then even to the lower 80s from Sunday through Wednesday. Starting for next weekend, we'll have those temperatures climbing a bit as the effects of that rain and cold front dissipate back to those upper 80s that we're used to for this time of year. Our lows are going to follow a similar pattern with those lower 70s continuing throughout the week, but even dipping to those upper 60s, which is uncharacteristically cool for our area. Our rain chances are going to be persistent throughout the week, coming in with just some isolated showers and maybe some isolated thunderstorms this weekend and continuing throughout the week through Tuesday. Our normal temperatures, you can see, are in those mid 60s and mid 80s, so we're going to have slightly lower temperatures than usual.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all our social media platforms. Have a good night.